You know, the world is going mad because we have, on the one hand, we have all these people giving out their information to Facebook and Instagram all over the place. And on the other side, we have public officials trying to protect our privacy by refusing to release the names of criminals, people who attack police officers and shoot at police officers and try to kill them. And that's what's happening right now in Alberta with the Alberta Serious Incident Response Team, which is called ASIRT. And this is a body that investigates police incidents. And, you know, listen, we need that for sure, of course. But the problem is we have this ASIRT deciding that in the case of, for instance, Jordan Forget, the constable who was shot in Abbeydale on March 27th, they've decided that they're not going to release the name of the person who shot him and tried to murder him, even though the person is dead. In fact, it's because the person's dead that the person's name is not being released. If that person were alive, they would be charged with 2 attempts of attempted murder because he shot at 2 police officers, and we would know the person's name, and then we could find out stuff about the person's background, which once they're charged, you can't really report on it. Anyway, it would have been, it's the right thing to do. Never in a free and democratic society should the names of anyone who would have been charged with a homicide, anything along the spectrum of homicide, be kept secret. That leads to, I mean, that's what happens in dictatorships. You know, somebody dies and no charges are laid and you never hear the person's name, the deceased or the person who committed the crime. So it's really a serious issue. Today I spoke with the president of the Canadian Police Association, and he just says that this is a very, very troubling trend, really, that's happening not just in Alberta, but yeah, Calgary's is the worst so far. This great sense of secrecy around these police attacks. We have a right to know because a lot of times we can figure out how to improve things as a result of finding out that, for instance, maybe the person was out on parole or they'd been let out on bail even though they had, you know, the proverbial record as long as your arm. And we have seen in the past where people who have shot at police and killed police in the Edmonton area, that casino in 2015, that we found out a lot about that person and could then work towards amending legislation. And so we need to insist that the names of people who would have been charged with crimes, had they survived, their names not be kept secret. And I would argue even further than that, that victims of any kind of a homicide should be named regardless of how harmful that is to the family, because too many secrets can be left and perpetrators can get off if that's the case. So I just really think it's important, and hopefully things will change.